Nikita Khrushchev was an incredibly influential Soviet politician who took over leadership after Joseph Stalin suffered a stroke on March 5, 1953. On February 25, 1956, Nikita Khrushchev denounced the former Soviet leader Joseph Stalin in the speech titled The Secret Speech. To solidify his power, Nikita Khrushchev removed many members of the Communist Party and enacted many reforms to the Soviet Union, like allowing clergy to return, releasing prisoners, and having less people taken by the secret police. Nikita Khrushchev's exigence was to kickstart a major de-Stalinization campaign in Soviet Russia, attempting to return to more Leninist policies in the country. During the secret speech, Lenin's testament was used, which had warned the members of the Communist Party that Stalin would most likely abuse his power. Nikita Khrushchev cited multiple examples and sources of this abuse of power, many coming from the Great Purge in the mid-1930s. While referencing Lenin's testament, Nikita Khrushchev says he detected in Stalin in time those negative characteristics which resulted later in grave consequences. Fearing the future fate of the party and of the Soviet nation, Lenin made a completely correct characterization of Stalin, pointing out that it was necessary to consider the question of transferring Stalin from the position of Secretary General is the fact that Stalin is excessively rude, that he does not have a proper attitude toward his comrades, that he is capricious and abuses power. Nikita Khrushchev criticizes Joseph Stalin for not being prepared for the German invasion. Nikita Khrushchev makes it very clear that Joseph Stalin was a tyrant who abused power and was anti-Soviet. Nikita Khrushchev used ethos in his speech by utilizing texts created by Lenin. Lenin, being the father of the Soviet Union in many citizens' eyes, was an easy way to relate to his audience and gave the effect of bypassing Joseph Stalin by going over his head. Nikita Khrushchev uses the quote, "Here we see no wisdom, but only a demonstration of the brutal force which had once so alarmed." That quote was by Lenin. Ethos is utilized in the speech with use of text by Lenin. Nikita Khrushchev utilized pathos in his speech by referencing the policies of Joseph Stalin. The same fate met not only the Central Committee members, but also the majority of delegates in the 17th Party Congress. Of the 1966 delegates, with either voting or advisory rights, 1,108 persons were arrested on charges of anti-revolutionary crimes, i.e. decidedly more than a majority. This very fact shows how absurd, wild, and contrary to common sense were the charges of counter-revolutionary crimes made out, as we now see, against a majority of participants at the 17th Party Congress, Joseph Stalin, by referencing a very true event that hurt and was hard for so many present members listening to the speech. The memories and imagery fully utilize pathos. Nikita Khrushchev used logos to show how oppressive and terrible Joseph Stalin's rule was. Nikita Khrushchev was quoted saying, "This directive became the basis for mass acts of abuse against socialist legality." During many of the fabricated court cases, the accused were charged with the preparation of terrorist acts. This deprived them of any possibility that their cases might be re-examined, even when they stood before the court that their confessions were secured by force, and when in a convincing manner they disapproved the accusations against them. Nikita Khrushchev, showing how Joseph Stalin destroyed the rights of a citizen of the Soviet Union, is a great example of him persuading others to agree with him by showing how the rights of the Soviet citizen vanished under Joseph Stalin's rule. Nikita Khrushchev had many constraints during his speech, criticizing how Joseph Stalin purged his political opponents under Nikita Khrushchev would not be able to do it in the same degree. The speech had also had some unintended consequences of strengthening Nikita Khrushchev's early political opponents. Overall, the speech was a success, bearing Joseph Stalin's loyalists that were still in the Communist Party.